Hello everyone. Okay, yes, today's video is going to be not resin. It's going to not be a Timu. It is going to be a harvest video, and I'm going to be the happy homemaker today. I don't know where to look at because of this stupid thing. I'm just looking up here. But I would like to show you what I'm going to be doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my camera down for a couple of seconds and I'm going to show you. And very sorry about the noise of the dogs, but my husband just left to go grab dinner. So, of course, I will be taking a small break after the start of this video. All right. This here is my brother sewing machine. I absolutely love it, although I'm not quite comfortable with it. When I was sewing a lot, I was sewing way back when machines didn't have all this computerized stuff. And you only had a certain amount of stitches. As you can tell, this thing here has a ton of stitches. And it is digital. Find that button. It's set up so that you just look at what stitch you want here and you push it in up here. And so say I want to use this hemming stitch, okay? Then it's number 19, so I want to go to 1 and then 9, and as you can tell, it changes where the foot position starts. It does have a reverse. It does have speed adjustment. And then foot up. And then, of course, you can do embroidery with this machine, which are those down there. It has, of course, the part that opens here, where you stash all your little doodads and tools. I don't have all my extra feet out because I'm going to do something so simple I don't need them. And so I'm going to put you back up now, and then I'll show you my accoutrement for this project. I'm really hoping it doesn't change the way that the video has already begun and flip it or something on me when I pull this down for you to see, but here we go. I'm putting this down to here. I hope that's good enough for you. All right. These are those clips I purchased from Temu. It's safer than using straight pins. But of course you can't sew over them like you can straight pins. So you just watch what you're doing is all. But it does help hold the fabrics together. I'll be using black on the top of the machine. White on the top of the machine. Black on the bottom in the bobbin, so that the black goes to this and the white goes to the white underneath. I'm going to be making a border of white around the sunflowers. And I want to make a border of sunflower around the white on the opposite side. On the white, I am going to put this one. I figured that would look pretty good there. And it would go really well with the sunflower for harvest. Now, I'm kind of at a crossroads with really how to proceed. I do not have a zipper the length that I want to have a zipper. I have a zipper that would make do at the end, but I don't want it, the opening on the end. I want it on the bottom. It is not a typical squared off insert. Instead, it is more like a pillow. Not the size of a standard pillow, no. But as you can tell, it is quite fluffy and sturdy at the same time. Now, I intend to encase that in some of this fabric all by itself. Okay, boys, stop. Go. That's enough. I have nothing for you. You're not getting a goodie. Go away. Anyhow, sorry about that, people. So I'm going to make an entire encasement out of this. It will be sewn completely shut all the way around, and then it's going to act as a definite insert instead of just having the fiberfill loose, so to speak, inside of a zippered pillowcase. Okay. Also now in this, I decided I wanted to try using this little gadget for my taller spools. My sewing machine does have the ability for tall spools, but not like the gargantuan tall spools. So I'm going to see about putting this together, and I'll be right back. All right, they settled down for a few moments, and I did get this together. As you can tell, this is where your threads go on, your spools. They're not exactly completely sturdy, and I would suggest making a hole on top and bottom of your spool. These are Coats and Clark threads. They're pretty much the go-to ones. I had to purchase these a long time ago. Well, not too long, probably about 5 years ago. And it was when my husband took a trip for me to a town 95 miles away. We call it, you know, kind of a 3-hour drive because of the area we live in. And I sent him just to go get a couple things. He ended up walking out of there because I wasn't able to attend the fun trip. Well, because I told him, no, I need this, and I need that, and I need that, and I need this, and okay, and I did already have a sewing machine, but he listened to me and bought my good one here. He does get upset with me a little bit because I don't use it all the time like I should. But like I said, I have problems seeing because my glasses are a little on the old and cracked side. But I plan on maybe the beginning of next year with taxes to go ahead and maybe eke out enough for new eyeballs because I really want to see again. And so he walked out of that store, Walmart, mind you, before the pandemic, before inflation, spending almost $1,000 for me. So I have to appreciate that. And I should get more usage out of this sewing machine. All right, I'm going to pause it here, and then I'm going to get the fabrics cut. And I have decided that I'm probably going to use Velcro for the enclosure, since the enclosure is going to go at the bottom. I don't like using Velcro because if it gets against your skin, it's so itchy and bothersome. But I'm pretty sure that's the way I'm going to have to go, at least for this pillowcase. All right, I'll be back soon. Okay, I got the first piece cut out. Now I just have to cut the other piece out. I've decided to go with no borders and just plain one side, plain the other side. Mostly because, well, this is actually the 30th of September, and I got real tired. So I want to get this finished so I can begin the Halloween. And so what I'm doing right now is just making sure I get as close to the same size as possible by using my yardstick here and getting right on the edge of the other piece. And yes, I have done some smoothing out for the underneath to make sure that I have what I need. And what I see here is I have to readjust a little bit and bring this way, because when this large piece of fabric was cut, it was cut a little off. And I'm not a perfectionist per se, but I do like things to try to match up as I go. Okay, I'm going to bring this way a little bit and just fold this slightly over so I have more room. My cutting mat, unfortunately, is not, it's large, and it's not, my table isn't as large in width as it should be, but we make do with what we have, right? So you just kind of adjust how you do things a little bit. Get this lined up now. And because my hands are arthritic, I do use a rotary cutting tool. It's in lock position right now. Unlock. Now I'm not exactly the most steady cutter, but I'm going to do it real quick here, hopefully. I'm going to put some pressure right here. Lift your tool and put just against the edge of the ruler. And I always have this feeling I'm going to cut myself, even though it's not really warranted. You want a really sharp blade. And I didn't get as much pressure there as I wanted. And I went off my cutting board a little bit here, so I'm just going to drag this up a little bit and finish that. All right, both pieces are now cut. I'll put this away. I'll be right back. Okay, the next thing I need to do is open this up and cut the white piece in half. Which will be very simplified to do. Because it's already kind of got that crease there. You ever hate that little thing that when you bend over, that your nose wants to run before you can get something accomplished? That's what my nose is trying to do today. My allergies are just in high gear as usual, but a little bit more high today. Oh boy, I'm definitely using the top piece now, aren't I? Okay. Boy, did that go off cut real fast. Okay. Let's try to trim a little of that off. As I said, sometimes I get a little worried I'm going to cut myself anyway. And get goofy with my cut. Okay. And I just cut that. Not locked all the way. Okay. Now I have my top piece here. It's a good thing the sunflower design was cut a little bit better. And I'm going to only say a little bit better. As you can tell, this piece here's, don't know if you can even see that, but this piece here is where they cut it at the store. And so it's not exactly the straightest or flushest. Okay. Kind of ironing this out a little bit as I go with my hands. Now I'm going to go ahead again and try trimming the excess white. Pull it down. Get this trim here. It's okay if they're not exact, but they have to be close. It just makes your next it tried moving on me. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm just going to put it on the other side of this here. And then I did it with my body. I think it's because I'm feeling urgent need to go ahead and blow my nose. But there are certain times when you want to hurry up and finish something else at the same time. So, okay, let's try it again. And I do cut at an angle. So if I screw up, it's that way instead. I'm going to pause you and I'm going to do what nature needs. All right, I have just one last edge to trim off here. Let's give that one a go and hope for the best on that one too, right? Okay, here we go. And I don't waste any of these excess pieces like this, these little strips. I use those in what I call a rag stuffed pillow. All right, both pieces are cut and they are ready to be sewn. So I'm going to pause you again while I set my sewing machine up for this and try to get the camera angle so that you can see. All right, back in a second. All right, I decided to take a little bit of time off, and instead of using straight pins, I'm going to use these little clips, and I'm going to clip the fabric together enough in certain spaces to hold it while I sew. And I won't bore you with that. So I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be doing here. And since my opening is going to be along the long edge, I'm leaving both of the sides alone, without clips, without pins, without anything like that. And okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I realize that you're not going to be able to see everything from the front because I'm not on the other side underneath the camera. However, I do need to get the bobbins done, and so you start it this way, and on this machine it gives you very simple instructions, and you just take the thread around this, put it through this little slot, tighten up a little bit on your thread, except it cut my thread. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, not chintzy. You can tell some threads are chintzy. This one's not supposed to be all that chintzy. But it is a little on the older side. It's like 3 or 4 years old, but that should not matter. And it's a Dickens trying to get it started up through there. Well, especially when you don't see as well and the bobbins are shiny. I take enough thread up and then pop the bobbin on. Press the foot over. And I like to hold on to that little extra piece of thread until after the bobbin starts winding and it gets caught up easier. Okay, I'm going to turn this on. I know it's not so easy to see under there. I did lift it as well as I could. So I have a presser foot here. If I can get back over to me. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to put it on slow. And the foot is lifted. You don't want it down when you're doing the bobbin. And you just start off a little slow. Yeah, pull that extra piece up because it's interfering. There we go. All right. It's missing a little bit here. I'll push it back over real quick. Get that thread caught up in that foot all the way. It looks like it is. Looks like it's winding underneath here. Okay, I'm going to fix this one way or another here. Back in a second. Sewing while sleeping doesn't help. First, I know I could just pass up this part and just pretend like nothing stupid happened. I forgot to wrap the thread around the tensioner area. And so it wasn't having the tension. It was going straight and directly underneath the bobbin threader. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got it all done properly now. Remember, I'm not used to this machine, but that was a pretty stupid rookie mistake. There are directions right here on top and over here. Excuse me. Now I do hold the thread up until it starts winding. So let's begin one more time. There we go. All right, now I'm going to cut this little piece up here. There we go. All right, and now we just stick the foot on and let her rip. Of course, this can go faster. But I like it to go slow so that the thread does not lift everywhere and fly and create problems. And it does have an auto stop on it. So as soon as it gets full enough, it will stop. I won't bore you with the other color that I have to put on a bobbin. And there we are. So now it'll stop. Now it does have a cutter here on the side. But since I already have a pair of scissors out, and one bobbin wound. And then, of course, we just take this off and we replace it with the other color I need. And as I said, I won't bore you with that process. Be back in a moment. Okay, both bobbins done. Machine is threaded. So now we just have to begin sewing. As I said, I will be closing up both ends and one of the sides. So I'm going to get this in the machine and get it started. I'm going to use a binding stitch so that the ends do not ever come open. Get it under here. Get it as straight as I can. And get it over just so. I know you can't really see that. And I'm really sorry. I'm going to try to figure out how to set up a camera. I know this machine is just not my old style where you can reach back, lower the foot. So, the lowering the foot is in the front. No, it's not. I know where the lowering the foot is. I do. I look like a stooge, don't I? There we go. It wasn't behind, it was underneath. You'd think I'd never used this machine before, but it's been a while. I'll grant that. All right, the foot is down and holding. All I got to do is make sure my edge is sitting just right. I'm going to keep this on a medium. Get my settings done for my binding stitch. Okay. And the width should be just fine for what I need. And I'm right here at the edge of the foot. You can't see, but right here at the edge. Okay. Start out a little slow. And you do want to lock it in, which is just by going in reverse. My belly sometimes gets in the way. Okay, now we just go into reverse a little bit. And that's got it locked. Okay, so let's lift the foot, see what's going on. Don't see anything wrong. Except let's try it one more time. There we go. Okay, it's trying to bind up here. I don't know why. Lift my needle. yes, it is binding. It should have enough tension. I don't know what is going on with it. I'll pause you and I'll figure it out real quick here. It turned out to be a problem that the spool was actually not allowing it to move. So it bound up underneath. So I'm going to continue. Get my fabric to move upwards a little. And yes, do allow the presser feed to pull your fabric for you. Don't push. I do have a tendency to want to once in a while. And I do have a tendency to hurry up, so I'm going to move it forward. Now, when you get to a certain point, you do want to make sure that you are directing, not pulling, but directing. As you can see, this is the stitch I'm using. I'll show you in a moment after I get the 3 areas closed off. Every little once in a while, check to see that your fabric edges are exactly where they're supposed to be, because right now they're not pinned. So I'm free handing this in the way. All right, I'm sure you don't want to watch this part because you can't really see what's going on anyway. So I'll go ahead and finish the 3 sides. Be back in a moment. I did forget to mention that when you get to the corners, you need to leave your needle down, lift your foot, and then rotate your fabric. So that it is in position to do the next area. And then drop your foot. I'm going to have to remove a thread here real quick though from the fabric. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to drop the foot and I'm going to continue on. Back soon. All right, I'm at the end here. I'm going to lift my foot. And there's this handy dandy little cutting tool right here. Now I'm going to move my sewing machine back out of the way. And right the camera back up again a little bit. And this is where I began at. I'll get it a little closer in a moment. I just want to take off these longer pieces of threading. And this is the type of stitch that I use. It's a binding stitch. That's actually supposed to go slightly over an edge, but I prefer not to be on the edge itself. And as you can tell, It's a very tight stitch. I did go off course a little bit here and there. This corner, I will probably have to reinforce it a little bit. And it looks like my stitching got a little looser as I went. You can tell because the black is pulled down through the white more. So I'll have to tighten my tension just a little. And now I have all 3 sides that needed to be done. Now at this point is where my decision has to come in about what to do for a closure. I still haven't decided for that. So I'm going to leave that part to just do on my own until I figure it out. And I won't bring you back for that part because really I've got a few options and I'm not quite sure which option I want to go with. I really hoped to have found a long enough zipper and one of those hidden zipper type of situations. But I have an option of putting 2 zippers end to end here so that the opening meets here in the middle and you just zip it backwards and put the pillow in. Or, of course, Velcro stripping, which we all, it's convenient, but it's also noisy. And if your skin gets next to it, you've got that issue. But the next step on this I'm going to do is turn it right side out. Oh, my dogs, it's noon. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I've got it right side out now. White side up. This is the side the decal is going to go on to. Placement, of course, is going to be the key. This little one, I don't know what to do with it, and I started thinking really hard about what to do. I'm thinking about putting it as an extra right here, or taking a piece of my excess fabric here, putting it on that and creating a pouch to put on here. And I would attach it with a cording or something. So I'm a debating it, but probably won't use it. I just feel weird not placing everything on something that I have. Like, yeah, I know, strange. If it's going to look weird, it's going to look weird. All right, so the finished side-to-side product is approximately it's just under 23 inches, which is perfect for that pillow. Top to bottom, I have to give a 1/2 inch allowance for the new seam going in, so it'll be about just under 17 inches, which is perfect for it. So the size is great. It's a big, huge puppy pillow, so it does, of course, need all of its space. And every time I turn around, there's another cat hair on there. The next process is I've got to press this flat so that the iron-on will go onto it and adhere properly. So if it's 17 inches, I've got to measure the actual image, which is approximately 7 3/4. So I've got it placed pretty well here. Half of 10 is 5, of course. So I'm going to actually put it at the 5-inch mark on here. So I've got it where I want it to go. Side to side, I think I'm pretty good with that. At 23 inches. Half of 23, of course, is 11.5. So 11.5, and that looks perfect. So I know exactly where I'm going to be putting it. I'm going to go ahead and grab my iron and my ironing board, and I'll press this and I'll be right back. All right, I brought my ironing board out and my iron. Had to clean my iron because, well, I haven't used it in a while. And it's heating up right now. And you do not want to steam this. You do want to just let it get hot and press it and preheat your area that you're going to be doing. I do have a Teflon sheet underneath this, and I will be putting a Teflon sheet on top of the other so that there's no chance of burning anything. Got to switch my cord where it's at. There we go. That's a little bit better to use. I don't want to press my sides just yet. I just want to prepare the area where the iron-on is going to go. And before I get my iron-on laid down all the way, I'm going to have to remember exactly what it was that I was doing. So we're going to pull it out. Easier said than done in these days and age. I'm going to move that aside. I'm going to put it approximately where it was and where I believe the middle is. And then just top to bottom is where I'm going to check where it goes. And we're there on that. Okay, move my iron a little bit. Side to side. Okay, move my iron a little bit more. Eleven and a half. Maybe adjust slightly this way. All right, we're ready to get that ironed on. Grab my other Teflon sheet. I know Teflon sheets are mostly meant for use with vinyl, but I like to make sure I am not burning anything. And then we just get the iron on here. sort of move it just a little right now. And then slowly move it to the side. Remember, this is not one that has to be pressed hard, although it's a good idea to keep good pressure on it. But this is not like vinyl. This is just an iron-on transfer. But even like with vinyl, you do need to make sure that you've had enough time of heat on top of it, enough pressure. And then before you start lifting, you need to, of course, allow it to cool. I would reach over and pause that right now, but camera's a little further away and I don't want to burn myself. This is just a simple Black & Decker iron with auto clean. Now these decals, these transfers, are washable, but what you need to do is make sure that everything is turned inside out. And I am trying to make sure I take care to get all the edging, because I do not remember exactly where the edges of that decal are. My arm hates me for this. I had a bad night sleeping, and my arm is just hateful today. I will be doing a second video for harvest because I've got another thought in my little old brain cell that I want to put a charm on this pillow. All right, that should be enough. I will not turn my iron off. I need to first take a look at this decal. Let it cool a little bit. And then I have to do a test lift. And it looks like it's on there. Do peel very slowly. Especially in these more delicate areas where there's writing. And of course, my dogs picked the perfect timing to want in. But they will just have to wait. You notice I'm just rolling this off. Okay. A little bit faster now because it's starting to cool, and it's best to do it when it's mostly warm. And voila. It is attached. There you go. Now, always proper to wait 24 hours before washing. And I'm not going to fill the pillow until after it's been washed. It is nice and cooling down now. So I'm just going to pick it up. And of course it's backwards up there like that. And plop it back down. I'm going to shut off my iron. And I'm going to pause you right here. And voila, with the power of the pause, scenes change. I'm going to put this here ponytail holder on my Teflon sheets so that they don't get damaged. And I'm going to do another little magical pause and change of scenery and be back in a minute. Okay, as you can tell, this is the setup for the second part of this harvest video. I am going to be using the sunflower mold. And for the petals themselves, I will be using just the yellow. For the inside of the sunflower, I will be using this red, green, gold shift powder. I know it's very difficult to see. And I don't think I've opened this one yet either. Oh wait, it's opened anyway. And I don't know if you can see any of that shift. See it if it shows it in the lid a little better. But that's going to be in the petals of the sunflower, or excuse me, the centerpiece of the sunflower. Then I'm going to use that blue, green, gold for the leaves here. And I'm looking for a brown. That's what I'm looking for, because I want to do kind of a brown stem with a little bit of green of that color shift in it. And then when I go to pour, I'm going to use this black mica that I've had for quite a while. It's Fire Dots, but it's a black pearl, so it'll have a little bit of shimmer to it. So in case I miss any spots, which I probably will, that's what you're going to end up seeing. All right, I'm going to pause you, and I'm going to get to painting this out. I'm going to do finer details with my detail brushes that finally came in. That was so nice to have those come in. They are numbered, and the finest detail brush there is, well, that one's not it. Hold on. The more zeros, the skinnier the brush itself is. So let me find it. That's a 1. There's the 2. There's the 0. Here's the 3. There's the 4. 5 and 6. 7. 00. 000, and the finest one, which is got 5 zeros to it. That will be for doing these thin membrane lines that you see right here. I don't know if you can see it that far away, but we're doing these more finer membrane lines. And for other areas that I will have problems with, I am going to paint details in by using some alcohol and some of the micas in order to get those details in there really finely done. So I will be back as soon as I can get started. I first wanted to show you just how thin that detail brush is. Let's see if I can get it up there without it blurring too much. Maybe if I use both hands and figure out which way I'm going. Very difficult to see. All right, back in a minute. As you can tell, I brought the camera down as far as humanly possible to try to get as much in as possible so that you can see what I'm doing. This here, I chose to go ahead and put in the middle instead. This is a color shift with red and black in it. Gonna have to hold that down, grab my tweezers, and pop the seal on it. There it goes. It looks kind of black right now, but it has the shift to red. These are nail colors. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in first, although I really shouldn't because it'll probably cause me a lot of cleanup. But I thought this would be... I have hiccups. I'm sorry, everyone. And of course, you can see I'm not trying to fling it everywhere. It's got kind of a blood red to it when it shifts. And this, of course, is having to be brushed in. So as soon as I get this done, I'll be back. All right, I did get it dusted in, and I decided I'm going to leave a little bit of that dusting in the yellow part for the petals. I will have to clean some of this off, so back in a moment. All right, I turned it inside out, and I don't know if you can get that red shift in there now. And now I'm going to pop it back the way it belongs. Next comes the green, except I'm going to do the gold first because I don't have a brown anywhere. The only browns I have is in acrylic paint, and I don't want to use that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do a mixture of the gold and the color shift green to get that little bit of brown I need. All right, back in a minute. Okay, so I added, now the one I'm using is an antique gold, and it's metallic, and I tried my best to add a little bit of the green, but the gold is going to take over completely. So I'm just going to allow it to do that. Now, there is an area up here. Where the leaf had curled in. Maybe I need a longer brush for this. Longer bristles. Okay. I got that one. Definitely going to have to use a longer, better brush on that. I'm definitely going to have to do a little bit of a cleanup, aren't I? I don't mind. It is a little bit time consuming, but we do what we need. And then we got these thin areas right here. Trying not to spill. Now, I'm sorry if you can't see some of this. But I can't see how well this is coming up on my camera because it's lower than I normally get. And since this is going to be time consuming and you know what I'm doing, I'll be back when this is all painted. All right, I sat here in a quandary about how to apply the rest. And I'm putting my mask on real quick. And I've decided to use a larger brush. And I'm just going to paint them in with that. All right, back in a moment. All right, so what I decided to do is I wanted these petals just a little bit more yellow than that red, green, gold. So I put one little scoop of the yellow in here. And I'm just going to mix it around a little bit. Not completely, because I want to have kind of a speckly effect. So I'm hoping that works out for me. All I have left to do is this portion. And I am layering it in there kind of thick. Everything else should already be covered, so I don't have to worry about that. And when I get done finishing this off right here, I will go ahead, dust it, and I'll be back with some black to fill it. All right, give me a moment. Okay, I tapped out all the excess. Hopefully most of it's gone now. Just time to mix up the black, and I'll be right back. I had a small shift of plans. Instead of doing black behind here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do gold. And I'm going to use up this gold right here. And whatever's left over is going to go in this and this. And I do have, and yes, it's the beginning of Halloween things. And I do have these letters and numbers. And they, I think, would look great in gold. So, back in a few minutes. Today I'm going to go ahead and give my resiners machine a go at for removing some bubbles. And we'll see what happens. Sadly, I do not have a silicone mat at the bottom of it, but we will see what's going on. I know my video has already passed over an hour. I did not want that to happen, but I did want to get both of these in today so that I could begin Halloween. Set that there. Put this inside the machine. It doesn't fit completely in here, so we'll see what happens. It's not too tall, and I know you can't see what's going on. I'll try to move this down just a little bit. Move that out of the way. Get this over some, and hope you can see what's going on with it. A little bit more. All right, I'm just going to hit the power on. I do not want... Okay, I'm going to hit the 9-minute. And of course, I forgot to put the gold in right now. I only made 160 mil because I don't think this is that deep enough to require a whole lot more. And then whatever's left over goes in those. Alright, I'm going to pause this while this machine gets going all the way because I'm already at an hour and 15 minutes. I just passed up the 5-minute mark and it's not clearing up a whole lot, so hopefully at the end of the 9, almost done. And all the, oh my goodness, that was a beep, wasn't it? All right, I'm going to go ahead and release the air. Or not release the air, but put some air in. Now, I do find that this top is very difficult to get off, and there's no way to really hold the butt base. Especially when you're just one person, you should have like at least a handle or something on it. Okay, there's still, as you can see, a lot of bubble in there. So I'm going to put it on for another 9. But I'm going to break up the big bubbles first. Scrape any bubbles off the side and off the bottom. All right, I'm going to stick it back in. Try another round and see what happens. Close up my back. All right, remember, you got to work quickly. It's deeper, so I did what I could. On AI. It should start automatically. There she goes. All right, back when it's done. 6 minutes down, and though it didn't have the amount of bubbles on top that it had the last time at this point, I still see inside the resin a gazillion micro bubbles. So we'll see what happens in the end of the 3 minutes here. All right, we're going to see what's going on with this now. Remember to always put that back after opening. I know you can't really see it, but I'm trying, guys. And seriously, they need a better way to pop this off of there so that you're not accidentally jumbling it up and spilling it. It's a wonderful idea, but it just needs something better. Okay, so here's what we have. There are still a few micro bubbles in there. I can see some from the side, but most of them are gone. Now I get to introduce even more of them by adding the gold. And what I'm having to do is stir it up a little bit. And the color shift is at the bottom of the pot. While the gold stayed along the edge. Okay, let's try mixing that. I don't want to mix too much of the liquid because that messes with things horribly. Try to do this without introducing a lot of bubbles. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of this gold. See, that's why you wear masks and goggles, is because you just get a poof once in a while that you don't want to breathe in. Just going to get this scoopy whoopy here. All right. I'm going to close this back up. Wipe my fingers off a little bit, so I'm not transferring at all. And then to incorporate this in, just do it very slowly, though you are working, of course, against time. This metallics reminds me a lot of Quicksilver, which is basically mercury. Get rid of as much of that mica in there as much as possible. Smoosh it against the side so it breaks it up. All right, I'm going to do this and I'll be right back. Okay, it's getting really warm. Time to pour. Bubbles or no bubbles, going to have to deal with it. As I said, I put 160 ml, and I figured it would go over. So we're going to have to let that settle down into places while I put some of this into these. And I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm just going to do this. Let it find its way down in there. And then I'm going to show you what I like to do to try to get rid of the bubbles. And basically, this is all you do is you take your spatula, you go over and over and over. And the ones that have a long space, just tap down in there. Scrape some into here real fast. Oops. Get this scraped into these other letters. I do have them scooped together, scooted together, to try and be able to brush it over there. Okay, I can see that my sunflower needs a little prodding. Remember, a squish and smoosh. Get some poured into this area. Get this started. Remember, excess resin isn't that big a problem. You just break it off or peel it off when you get it out. Unfortunately, this mold is not that close to anything else, so I'm definitely going to need one more mold, which I do have available. Okay, come along, scoop that up, transfer, and let's get some of these done. Got to coax this into the tips of the sunflower. Okay, it could use a little bit more. Let it settle. So I would definitely say 160 ml is a little on the way much side for the sunflower. I would go so far as to say 100 ml is. Maybe the 60 ml would be better. I did not do what I should have done and did the smart thing, you know, and use some water. Okay, I'm going to scoop this up. Let it fill back down in there as I do that. And you try to use the straight edge of the spatula for doing this. You can definitely feel the heat starting to come off of here. And I do not have the heat mat on, by the way. All right, let me grab that other mold real quick. We have that little skull again. We have the 4 little skulls. I'm going to have to move my sunflower just a little bit. And, well, let's just see what goes here. We're going to fill this skull first. Remember, even though we're working quickly, do a little squidgies so that way his nose gets filled in. Okay, his nose is filled in. I gotta wipe my fingers and thumbs real quick. Hoo hoo hoo. And when you can't see what you're doing, don't do it, right? All right. Let's get these poured. Okay, I'm seeing that I can put a little bit more in here. Squish my skulls. Need to get a little bit more funneled into that one. Definitely getting thick. All right. Okay, scrape. Get it down in there, let it fill. Sorry this is taking so long, guys. Baler out. Okay. Skulls look filled. So what I'm going to do, I have a lot left here. I'm not going to worry about using it up, actually. I'm going to go ahead and let it cure in the bottom of the cup. And I'll use that to break up into other things. All right, back when this is all cured. Okay, I'm back. Not everything is fully cured, but the main attraction, of course, will be the sunflower. The rest is going to start going into my making of tonight's video for tomorrow, to be released as soon as possible in the morning, after midnight. Okay. As you can tell, it is still soft, it is still bendy, but it's good enough to demold. I really wanted this to go with that pillow in some way. Trying to keep my fingernails from digging into the resin. Got to be very careful where these leaves curl up. There is a little bit of overpour. So of course I'll have to clean that as well. Got that piece. This is inside pieces that's going to bother me because I have to get those removed as fast as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how it turned out. I'm waiting for seeing that myself, actually, especially with having used the metallic gold. All right, here we go. Okay, hoping for the best. Oh, that turned out pretty sweet. Let me bring it up to you. The green mica turned out really well. And that gold actually worked really, really well for that stem. And the color shift in that red to black and black to red. I'll try to get that for you. I know shadowing is like crazy. Oops. All right, everybody. Okay, y'all know the drill. I'm not going to go through that tonight. So what I'm going to do is say absolute thanks to all of you that's watched. And I hope that you were happy with the video. So peace out, everybody.